Faran Fronczak from the United States is up next to talk about all things Americana, but including that question that I flagged up earlier. You see, Faran, I've got a lot of high-nosed people. I've no doubt they're scratching their high noses right now, who say, I don't care about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. I am not interested. I can't choose between them. The problem is the masses in the United States, and I've discovered in enormous numbers here in Britain and in my own family, are interested in it. Not just because particularly Johnny Depp is, a big favorite with people. People really loved him, Jack Sparrow, and all that. But also because the issues being played out in this court case in the United States shed a light on other cases and on other allegations and on other people's lives. Because we're all familiar, aren't we, with the false accusations. You and I have been victims, not of the same kind of accusations, but of false accusations. We're both stamped, I think, with the false allegation that we are working for Russian state media, for example. So kindly, I know you've been covering the case. Kindly tell us your view on it now.
Well, and it's interesting, George, because like you said, many people are going to roll their eyes, but this is a case where this goes beyond just one international celebrity and his now ex-wife, Amber Heard. You had a former, what to kind of break it down for everybody, she wrote an article in the Washington Post saying, never naming Johnny Depp himself, but saying that she was a victim of sexual violence and she kind of felt the wrath once she came forward. Well, even though she never named Johnny Depp, everybody assumed that's who it was. So the trial right now is taking place here in Washington, D.C., just over the river in Fairfax County, because that's where the Washington Post headquarters are. But the question is that, she had multiple allegations. She has multiple recordings that she has made of her, verbally abusing Johnny, but she thinks it's him. It's in a way trying to make her look better, but it makes her look worse. But you're seeing throughout this trial that victims of domestic violence can also be men. But unfortunately, George, in the last couple of years, especially since the Me Too movement, you had Amber Heard, who wrote this op-ed in the wake of Me Too. She was a spokesperson for Me Too. She had also the ACLU help write this article with her. You're also finding Elon Musk has a place in this trial. She said when her and Johnny Depp divorced, she got $7 million. And she said she was going to donate it all to to the LA County Children's Hospital and the ACLU. Do you know who ended up donating money to the ACLU in her name? Elon Musk. So you have this whole dichotomy of what's going on. And again, people are like, oh my gosh, it's celebrities. But again, it's a really important case because it's showing this rise of woke feminism and how this Me Too movement had it where, women were on this pedestal where they could say, he was abusing me, he was doing this to me, he was doing that to me, and men couldn't say anything. And that's where you're seeing now that it's one of these things. By the way, I have a cat that it wants to come in the conversation, but you're seeing it now where these you're seeing it now. Come on, Holly.
Beautiful. No, you don't have to get rid of them. No. We like cats.
Those little kittens.
I'm the top cat here.
Exactly, George. But yeah, so that's where you're seeing this conversation happen of, wait a minute, how many of these men were falsely accused? I even know there's many college rape cases here in the United States where a lot of prominent young athletes were accused by women during that movement. Now, could this be one of those things where it shines a light on some of these cases saying, wait a minute, this whole believe all women, did we jump too soon? Did we not look at the facts in this case? But again, in this particular case, George, every single day, there's just something new that's coming out of it. The biggest thing that you're seeing here, much like in the mainstream media, when you turn on court TV, everyone is pro Amber Heard. When you go on YouTube or any other independent media outlet, you have teams of lawyers, they call it LawTube, where there are all these lawyers streaming the trial, looking at the objections. And actually, I've learned so much watching their streams, and they're saying, wait a minute, these evidence isn't adding up. We had this whole testimony from Johnny Depp, and now she's saying, you know, from when he pushed her down the stairs to then she has pictures that she showed where she had a broken nose, and you're seeing, wait a minute, this nose doesn't look broken. And then the very next night, she's on the James Corden show and it looks completely fine. You know, so you're having all of these allegations come forward. And on LawTube, as they're saying on YouTube, everybody's pro Johnny Depp. So it's an interesting thing to see here in the United States, how when you turn on the mainstream media, they're still very much pro Me Too, believe all women, don't ask questions. On the independent side, people are like, wait a minute, we need to start asking questions, because this potentially lost, you know, he's suing her for $50 million or $100 million. She's countersuing, all from this op-ed. And again, the Washington Post is at the center of it. But then again, the ACLU is also at the center of it too, because they helped write the article knowing Elon Musk gave money in the name of Amber Heard. So it's a mind-blowing case, George.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know as much about it as you, so let me ask a couple of, as it were, idiot questions.
No.
But first, nobody should be automatically believed. That's absurd, that you automatically believe someone because of their gender. It is logically and intellectually an absurd position. But it has become the kind of consensus in these very woke times that we are living in. You know, I spent a lot of time in Parliament with somebody called Margaret Thatcher. She was a woman, but trust me, you'd be very foolish to have automatically believed her when she promised to bring harmony instead of discord, when she promised this and that and everything else and delivered none of it. So women tell lies just like men tell lies.
Sounds like another former leader today, not naming any names, President Zelensky. Yeah,
quite. But my first question, daft question, is who makes the judgment? Is it a jury or is it merely one judge?
So this is a civil case, but there is a jury of 12, and it's actually very interesting. There's 6 men, 3 women. I believe 3 of the 5 men are Asian, and then there's an Asian woman, a black woman, and a white woman. And so the jury is very mixed up, but you actually have 5 Asians on the jury. But this isn't a kind of everybody has to agree here in the state of Virginia. It basically is where you can have 5 juries believe, it's a pro Johnny, 5 are pro Amber. And they kind of decide, they could, like, for example, by the end of the trial, they could say, hey, Johnny, you owe her $1. She owes you $1. Both of you get out of here. So civil case is very, very different from a criminal case. But yeah, this one is going to be a trial by jury. But the jury makeup in itself is another big question in all of this, because many talk about Asian culture. Here in the state of Virginia, they consider anything, even saying, George, you're an idiot, they consider that verbal abuse. Whereas other cultures, whether it be white, black, Asian, they're going to look at it a lot different.
Trust me, I've got a case, Faran. If that qualifies, if the bar is that low. Second question, then. Second question. The jury, you've partly answered it, that the jury can award minimal damages, but then that means the winners are the lawyers. I'm assuming that both of these people are spending a king's ransom on lawyers. Am I right?
Oh, absolutely. And they're actually saying, Johnny Depp has so much money that he's willing to spend it just to clear his reputation. You have to remember, he was taken out of Pirates of the Caribbean because of all of these allegations. There was allegations that he really beat her up down in Australia when he was filming, but then you had it where his finger mysteriously was cut by a vodka bottle that she threw at him. Then you have allegations of in their LA apartment where he beat her up there and almost tried to throw her down the stairs. And it's the question of, well, where was security? These are celebrities. Everyone would be watching this. What's going on here? But at the end of the day, Johnny Depp lost a lot of movie gigs, and that's what they're trying to prove in this defamation trial. You remember when Johnny Depp recently sued The Sun because the title was Johnny Depp, the wife beater, you know, and he went and sued the Sun for defamation and lost. So now with it coming here to the United States compared to British law with libel and defamation, the way you guys have it over there with your laws, it's a lot more, journalists have a lot more of a protections than they do here. But it's one of those things where, yeah, he's spending all this money because he said, I'm doing this to renew my reputation and bring it back to the actor that I was for, you know, not never harming a fly and, you know, going to the children's hospitals dressed as Jack Sparrow to show, you know, my humanitarianism. And that's where with this whole Amber Heard Johnny Depp case, you're seeing that, again, like you said, never believe people from the first set of facts. And unfortunately, we're seeing that with the Me Too movement, which has caused now a lot of questions of people saying, wait a minute, these big movements that come in like a hurricane, and all of a sudden we just have to believe all women. That looks like it might be coming to an end in the case with Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard.
Fascinating. I hope you'll come back and talk to us about it again when the
Absolutely,
verdict is in. When is that likely to be, Fran?
So this trial has been going on for 6 weeks. We are going into right now. There's a week off of the trial because the judge is actually at a conference this week that was already planned. They already knew this, but we're going to be going into the 4th week after this week. Now I have a show on my YouTube, Fair and Balanced, every Monday night where we go over the case of what happened, what the witnesses have said, and kind of the latest coming out of the trial every Monday night. And you can see it on my YouTube there. But yeah, we've got about 3 more weeks of this, George. So I'll see you in 3 weeks.
The lawyers have got quite a gig there. You probably earn as much as you would from Pirates of the Caribbean. So that's Faran Balanced.
Yep.
Faran, Faran Balanced, one word.
Yep. And really quick too, there's 2 petitions right now that are actually coming out because Amber Heard is scheduled to be in Aquaman 2. There's a change.org petition to bring back Johnny Depp for Pirates of the Caribbean. That has over 3 million signatures. There's a petition to kick Amber Heard out of Aquaman 2. It has over almost 4.5 million signatures, George. So you're seeing that hurricane is completely shifting gears and going in the opposite direction.
Well, unaccountably, I managed to miss Aquaman 1. I'll probably miss Aquaman 2 also.
Me too.
Faran Fronczak, thank you very much indeed.